Hi everyone, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026.
So we're here today in the studio to talk about what we saw in 2025 and what we expect to see moving forwards in 2026 and maybe some key themes across the markets.
So I thought we could start maybe by talking about some of the trends that we've seen in 2025. So if you could talk me through a little bit of that.
I suppose in professional services it was perhaps not the year we were hoping for off the back of 24, but it was steady. It's difficult to pick out too many themes in terms of the types of roles we saw. It was quite kind of, you'd have business partners one minute and learning managers the next. I suppose in terms of levels, the junior to mid-market has been steady. I think it's been okay, probably an emphasis on the ER side of things. Mid-market to senior market has again picked up as we've gone through the year, and it seems to be like quite a strong finish to the year for us in that space. And senior market, I'd say, has been okay, but lack of movement at that level has meant there's not been the volume of opportunities perhaps that we've seen coming up, particularly in the south. So it's been good. But now in 2026 we hope to see some of those themes continue on through and the market strengthen a bit. We're hoping anyway.
Yeah, I think for reward specifically, we had a very good start to the year. We did really strong Q1, and then from there it did slow down a little bit. I wouldn't have say it's been the easiest of years that we've had. What we have seen in terms of trends, I think, have been more specialist roles focusing on perhaps EMEA or APAC. A lot of newly created positions where functions are realizing that they haven't got a specialist reward person in place, so they really need to integrate that into the business. A lot of the firms that I've worked on, particularly within financial services, have been US-backed, either private equity or investment banks. And within that, they've had a large US presence. We've had to recruit for people who can purely focus on the EMEA aspect and the APAC aspect. So those have been some of the newer trends that we've seen. Typically, we would have seen, more of our roles coming from more of a backfill perspective. Usually, because reward is such a specialist function, we tend to be on a steady, even flow. So it was quite surprising this year when we definitely felt more of a dip. All in all, it was still a very good year. But those are kind of some of the trends that we experienced this year.
Sure. So with some of those roles you mentioned, a lot of those new roles then?
Yeah, so a lot of them were newly created standalone positions. So you may have a benefit specialist who will look purely at EMEA benefits, APAC, or you may have a compensation specialist who just, again, focuses on those regions, including the UK as well. So yeah, it's been a busy year, but challenging.
And I think we've seen similar, positively, we've seen some new roles coming out. A lot due to restructure. If someone leaves a role, it's being rehired at least at the same level, and sometimes people are using it as an opportunity to restructure. It's interesting what you say about the international piece. I think particularly at the mid to senior level, any exposure to outside of the UK is a real benefit as businesses look for growth coming outside of the UK because it's a bit sluggish at the moment, and also kind of new service lines as well. So private equity isn't massive in professional services, but it's starting to creep in. We have, there's accounting firms now, a couple of law firms that have got private equity backing. I think that will be a big push into 2026. And being there now, it's hopefully that that will continue in terms of the international stuff.
And it has been a huge change, I think, just even in terms of attaining new candidates on board that have that kind of skill sets. So the skill sets have changed slightly. You're looking for a much more specific remit. And within that, it's becoming even more specialist. Again, hiring managers are certainly very clear on what they want. For us, especially, it's about meeting with everyone and making sure that we can deliver the highest standard of quality of candidates throughout the year. So I think for that as well, it's been very much where those people have been quite risk adverse. It's about keeping in constant communication with those people that are tentatively looking, having a pulse on the market per se. And then when they're actually ready to move, having that role for them there.
We focused on kind of knowing everyone in the market, not just on the market. So it's a case of knowing who's the right person for the job and approaching them with a brief that's appealing to them. Clients are definitely looking at wanting 10 out of 10, which is the right thing. But candidates certainly post-COVID, people moved because they were probably wanting a change. They needed something to mix up. But I think now people are wanting the right job. There's no risk there. If you're not under any pressure and you're happy enough, it has to be perfect from a candidate perspective. So it does make timeframes a bit longer, and it can sometimes make searches more challenging, but still they're there, which is good.
How are you feeling about 2026?
Yeah, positive. I think it was good. I think a lot of people I was speaking to needed that break at the end of 25, and having now come back, I think people are quite up for it, and it seems that there's some positivity there. We can't control the external factors, I guess, but at the same time, I think I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I think so. There's been lots of changes, lots of positive hiring as well throughout 2025. So it can only go upwards.
Great to talk to you today, Dona, and thanks for those people watching. The salary guide is now available for 2026. We've put it together so it covers all the key areas for HR professionals, both here and across all our offices. So please, go online and download that, and hopefully it's useful to you.